No, there's no way in hell I'll do a duet with her. Sol yelled at his manager Maka. Well, I don't want to do a duet with you either. You snapped at him, crossing your hands and moving your head to the side. You and Sol were the greatest, most talented instrument players. Sol had 6 albums, more than 100 concerts, and 20 Grammy Awards. You, on the other hand, had 5 albums, more than 100 concerts, and 15 Grammy Awards. You guys were the best of the best, though you guys didn't really like each other. When you first met Sol, he always talked about him being more successful and talented than you, which annoyed you to hell. If you guys do a duet together, you'll both make a lot of money. Think about it, Wyan, the violinist, and Sol, the pianist. Kid, your manager said. I can make money myself, Sol said. He then walked away. So can I, you replied, and left in the opposite direction of Sol. Kid and Maka looked at each other, then ran after you and Sol. You were in your mansion with your best friend and trusted companion, Liz Thompson. Both of you were on top of the balcony watching the sunset, and Patty was playing with your guard dogs. That stupid he thinks he's better than everyone. I'll show him, you yelled, your face irritated. Oh, shut up, Wyan. Deep down, you know you like him. Liz chuckled. Liked, you said, facing your best friend, blushing a little. You did think Sol was pretty hot, but he was a big jerk. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that you're a violin player and he's a piano player. What makes him the best when you both play a different string of instrument? She said, because he has more awards than me, and a lot of people say he's the best string instrument player. You said. Kid then came and stood next to Liz, facing you. Wyan, we finally convinced Sol to do a duet with you, Kid said. What? I don't want to, you whined. Kid then walked toward you. He put both of his hands on your shoulders and said, Too late. You and Sol have a week to write a song. Kid then removed his hands. How? When he lives in New York and I live in California, you said. Your and his concerts will be in Paris. You guys will meet up in one of Paris's greatest hotels after your date with him, Kid explained, mumbling the last part, but you clearly heard it. What? You screamed. It's for the best, Wyan. At least get to know him better. Maybe after your date you might think he's not so bad, he said. You didn't have no choice but to agree to go on a date with Sol. Kid smiled and told you to pack your bags and get ready for the flight tomorrow. It was Monday and your concert with Sol started Friday. From those days, you spent time with Liz and Patty going shopping and things, while Sol and his best pal Black Star went on trips to the movies and restaurants. You and him hadn't even started writing, which made Kid and Maka worried. You had till tomorrow before the concert started at night. You were driving your type of car and were heading to the hotel Sol picked to meet up. As you parked your car and locked it, you went inside the hotel and told the employee at the lobby that you were meeting Sol. She gave you the directions of where the room was, and you left to go on the elevator. The room was a nice suite. You entered and saw how beautiful it was. The room had a big balcony, viewing inside the Eiffel Tower and the city, a king-size bed, a maroon-colored piano, and on top of the piano, there was a favorite colored violin. You went to check out the violin, holding it up. You were about to play it when someone called your name. It was Sol. He had a nice black suit and tie on. It made you blush a bit of how nice Seoul looked in his suit. Well, you look fine also, Ian. Seoul smirked, looking at your black, smooth dress and knowing your cheeks were red. You quickly put the violin down. So, where are you taking me? You asked, a little annoyed. I haven't been to the Eiffel Tower, so maybe we can go there, he said, looking away from you, putting on his jacket. You agreed and both walked out. On top of the Eiffel Tower, you could see the beautiful city lights shining. Since you forgot about your jacket, the cold air was hitting your skin, causing you to shudder a bit. Are you cold? Seoul asked, standing right beside you. No shit, you stuttered. Do you want my jacket? No. Why are you playing so hard to get, Ian? Seoul mumbled, not wanting you to hear what he said. You both kept watching the city until Seoul asked you a question. Ian, do you hate me? He said, looking at your colored eyes. He was surprised that he had asked. I mean, all he does was talk about himself being the best. You didn't know what to say. You hated his guts. Why was he being so nice to you? Probably because you guys were on a date, but you didn't know that Seoul had a big thing for you. Was all you could say. I guess you do hate me, he said. You kept looking down at the city. You then turned to look at Seoul, but he was gone. Where'd he go? You thought. You looked around, and you couldn't find him. You began to worry, but you thought he just went back to the hotel. You gave up and went back to the hotel, too. Once you opened the door, you found a bunch of red bold roses on top of the piano, with some rose petals on the floor in the balcony. You slowly walked in, seeing a card next to the roses. You picked it up and read it. Dear Ian, I know you probably didn't like our date, but just to let you know, I loved being with you tonight. Love, Seoul. Your eyes widened from what Seoul wrote. You heard the door open and turned to see Seoul behind you. He saw the card you were holding, then smiled. Seoul, I don't know what to... You were caught off by Seoul pressing his lips against yours. He had his hands on your waist and your arms around his neck. You enjoyed having his lips on yours. He then removed his lips and looked at your eyes. I like you, Ian. I couldn't express my feelings because I always felt nervous around you. I had to forget about it by just talking about myself. He said. Wow. You said. I never thought. I didn't know. What? How? Ever since I first saw you play your violin. He smiled and kissed you again, licking your lips, begging for entrance. You opened your mouth, and his tongue explored the inside. How much you loved it. But he stopped and started looking at your face again. I think we should write that song now. I think we should write that song now. You said. Seoul put his lips next to your ear, feeling his warm breath tickling your neck. Okay, but right now, after we do our love song, he said, his voice deep and lovingly. Your face was red as a tomato. You nodded, and Seoul carried you to bed. I'm not reading that. Okay. Bonus ending. The concert was now over, and your fans were screaming yours and Seoul's name. You and Seoul were holding hands, going backstage to meet your friends and managers. Seoul went to meet his manager Maka and friends Black Star and Tsubaki. Wow, Ian, I knew you'd end up being with the jerk. Liz teased. He's not that bad, you said. Well, as long as you're happy with him, you're both fine. Kid smiled. You heard Seoul calling your name and told your friends goodbye. Are you ready for another love song, Ian? He smiled. You nodded and hooked your arm around his and made your way back to the hotel. Please subscribe to me after listening to this. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was requested. I forget by who, but she requested, or they requested, or he requested Seoul X female listener. So here I am. Okay. Happy Saturday, everyone. Okay, bye. I'll see you guys tomorrow.